Hey guys, so today I'm here and I'm going to be doing a little bit more of the 31 days of paranormal. So today is going to be talking about the other apartment. So after we got out of the Ouija board apartment, our apartment before we got to the house we're at now. Started off when we lived there was actually a breath of fresh air compared to the Ouija board apartment. The place got really messed up. By the way, I'm going to get more detailed on the Ouija board stories and kind of answer some questions and do some tie-ups and all that in an upcoming video. So be on the lookout for that. Back to that apartment. So we are at the new apartment, and when we were there, it was overall like a really great vibe. The apartment was actually, it was a lot tinier. Well, in comparison, it was really tiny in compared to the Ouija board apartment, but it just felt really warm and friendly and all that. So some of this was weird, but we ended up having a few, actually all the neighbors we had in that building were actually really nice. I don't know how we got so lucky, but they were all like genuinely really nice and good people. But the one lady next door, oh my god, I loved her. She was such a sweetheart and she was so nice. But she lived in that apartment that we had when she like moved next door. So she would talk to me a lot, and then after we were in there for a few months, she was asking like, hey, do you like see anything? Like, do you see anything at all? And then the two people that lived in the second floor, as well as the people who lived in the third floor, all asked us if we saw all these like weird spirits. And like they always talk about kind of like a bigger man in older clothes with like, almost like they described it as one of those like those old school hats where like they're kind of a top hat but they're waved. I don't know how you would call that. Pretty much like almost like what the Monopoly guy wears, but more rounded. But they would say all the time that they would see a guy like that with like a white beard and all that, and pretty much he was really intense. Me and my boyfriend sadly never saw it. Well, actually, fortunately, I'm actually fortunate. We never saw that. The only thing that would happen sometimes in that apartment is that in the doorway of the kitchen going into the bedroom, sometimes it was like a little bit of residual energy, which you just sometimes see like a shadow going by, and it was mainly be out of your peripheral vision where it looked like somebody went by really quick. But other than that, I never felt anything strange or weird or anything, but they all told me some like crazy stories, and they all seemed to have sound mind. They seemed pretty normal. They were all like pretty nice people, but they all had their own stories and all that, even their kids and all that. Because the one lady asked me if I would babysit, and I kind of thought it was like a little weird. I didn't do it, by the way, but I thought it was a little weird because the child was pretty older. I think it was like 12 or 13, so I was like thinking like it doesn't really, like he didn't really like need a babysitter type deal. I mean, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. But it's up to everyone's discretion. It's just me. He was kind of like a bigger like 12, 13-year-old, so just putting that out there. But then she was telling me how he's so afraid because that man comes out of his closet all the time, and then she sees it too. Like, I'm not down with that. I don't want to be around that. Like, I was good on that. But they all had their own stories about seeing this man, and they'd be sleeping, and he'd be above them, and like all this crazy stuff. Even their kids would say weird stuff, and they would ask us all the time, and personally, we never saw it. I do have one little story about the apartment, but I'm going to share that in another video. But it is actually a pleasant story. Well, it's sad but pleasant, but it's going to be a separate thing, but going based on what the neighbors are saying. So one thing though we did find out, so we stayed there for about a year until moving into the house we're at now, and as we were leaving, like the last like week or so, we're moving and packing things up, the girl's asking me about something. They were doing something with the internet and all that, and they needed to go to the basement because something was getting fixed or something. And then she was asking me if I ever been into the basement. I was thinking like, no, because it was all locked up, and it was kind of one of those really, it's an old building. Probably when the city was first up and coming, it's that old. Well, she was asking me if I ever been down there. Come to find out, I didn't go down, by the way. I was good. I refused. I don't want to see it. It used to be a morgue. Like, where it was like almost like a mini hospital, like mini, like, medical ward almost, and I had a morgue in my basement. A morgue. There was no bodies or anything left, but I guess they did have stuff in jars with the juice and all that in there. I don't know what exactly was in the jars. I didn't ask. I know they still had the room where they kept the bodies, like, I don't know what you'd call it, where you can pull pull them out almost like drawers. I'm trying not to sound inconsiderate, but they had that. They still had a bunch of the tools and the actual, like, the bed, the metal bed thing and all that. And I guess a lot of it was like rusty and weird. I know the kids sometimes, like, they'd be in the back, and the one kids that were my one neighbor's, like, they'd be playing with some really weird tools, and I just figured, okay, like, that's kind of strange, but whatever. Come to find out, they're playing with the morgue tools, which I don't think they should be doing, but that's not my business. But I was surprised that was even down there. I did not go down there. I'm thinking, you know what, I'm almost out of here in a few days, and I was good on seeing that. It's just personally not my thing. And yeah, she was all surprised, like, wait, you didn't know? And I was like, no. Like, that's kind of an important thing to, like, not tell people, like, hey, you know, there's still pretty much a morgue downstairs. There's no bodies or anything, but I mean, there's still like chemicals, all that weird stuff down there, and stuff in jars, and like old body bag stuff. I feel like that should be gone, but that's not my business. Not my thing anymore. Rusty tools, you know. Hopefully, I mean, I would doubt they would have anything that's really bad down there, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I was good on going down. I refused, pretty much. I was just like, I believe you. You're good. I'm good. But yeah, that ended up being really ironic. Kind of grossed me out a little bit, but overall, it actually was a really good apartment. I actually liked it a lot. But yeah, that was just a really weird story. I seem to get, I told you, like, I'm a haunted person. Everywhere I go, it's really, really strange and weird. But next video, I'm going to tell you about the one little experience I had that was in that apartment, but it's not for what you guys think. So if you guys would like to know, definitely watch for tomorrow's video. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.